Hello again, gang. Welcome back to the channel. Another Football Manager 2023 experiment with me, Jayhuahua. And today, we're looking back at height. Now, we know what happens with height. We've seen it on the channel before. We've been there. We've done that. We've not got the t-shirt, but we've been there and we've done it. However, today, we've got a big team versus a little team. The highs, the lows, the talls, the shorts, the everything else in between. Let's go. So we've got Kettering and Hemel Hempstead. Now, creatively, I've not really gone too outlandish with the names. Kettering goalkeeper, Kettering winger, Kettering left back, Hemel Hempstead goalkeeper, Hemel Hempstead striker, winger, central attacking midfielder, blah, 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 blah. They've all got 100 current ability, 200 potential ability. And if we have a quick look, their entire squad is made up of these perfect potential players. Now, the 6'11" team is Hemel Hempstead, and they've got jumping reach of 13 and heading of 15. However, we go through and look. I mean, the attribute breakdown is different per position to give them a bit more of a rounded breakdown of what they're trying to be as players. But in terms of height being the overall factor, Hemel Hempstead are all 6'11", and they have all got 13 jumping reach and 15 heading to begin with. Kettering, on the other hand, they're all 4'11". They've got 3 jumping reach and 5 heading. So as you can see from the polygons, they are very much... We did go on a striker, didn't we? Let's have a look at the striker. Let's have a look at the comparison of polygon. There you go. In terms of to get them both to 100, we had to give Kettering, the smaller players, slightly better attributes in a more rounded sense because of the jumping reach and heading with the taller players. Another side note, facilities. We've given state-of-the-art training facilities to both teams. There's Kettering, and if we go to Hemel Hempstead, facilities, state-of-the-art training facilities again. So we've got the Vanarama North and Vanarama South. What do I think is going to happen during this experiment? So they're here for 23 years. Now, you see that all the Kettering players are joining Man City, and all the Hemel Hempstead players are joining Chelsea. Why those teams are here, you ask? All big £50 million transfers, and it's because Man City and Chelsea, on a video I did on the channel so long ago, they backdoored the way out of a transfer embargo because they got taken over by new owners. Don't you think I've forgotten City and Chelsea? I hold a grudge, and here we are. Screw them over a bit. What also we looked last time, in terms of growth, is these smaller players grow quicker, but they fall off quicker as well. And the taller players take longer to get there, but their longevity is much longer. So I would say the smaller team is going to rise up the leagues quicker. Well, they're both going to rise up the leagues at the same time because they're both going to be improving their players like far beyond the capabilities of the leagues. Smaller players are going to go much quicker and probably do better in the first 7-8 years, maybe do a bit better in the Premier League in the first couple of years. Then the taller team's going to come through and dominate, in my opinion. But then once it's all said and done and they've moved, we actually are going to simulate further forward and see the legacy of the teams and whether City and Chelsea fall down the leagues because of the financial peril that I'm going to put them in. So yeah, that was a long intro, wasn't it? Right, let's jump forward straight away. We'll just jump forward a year, see where we're at. Right, so in terms of current ability then, we have got a varied selection. But Hemel Hempstead's players, far more Hemel Hempstead players, have grown quicker. And they're the taller players. So what I was saying about the shorter players doing better early doors, false. They're in the Vanarama National League. So if we go down to the Vanarama National League North and we go back a season, as you can see, Kettering won by a canter, only losing the one game, and that was 3-2 against Kings Lynn. Vanarama National League South, Hemel Hempstead, undefeated, only drawing once. There you go then. So the Hemel Hempstead team has improved far greater than Kettering's players. But everyone's improved at least 6 attribute points. Some of them have never even played. All-time appearances, some of them have never even played. Kettering winger 2 improved 15 attribute points. Hasn't even had a kick of a ball. Unfortunate, isn't it? They both absolutely smashed it in that first season. Right, so before we go through another 3 years to get into the meat and potatoes of this experiment, please do drop a like on this video. I'm not going to beg you to subscribe today. I want you to drop a like on this video because I want this video to reach as many people as possible because I want to see loads of likes and loads of views on it because I tell you why. Because the amount of admin to do in this video to get all these players at these teams, at these current abilities and potential abilities, with the transfers going through at a specific time, with the right positioning. The pre-game editor is so much harder to use than the in-game editor. If you use both and you know it, you know what I mean. So get a like on this video. If you don't know what I mean, take my bloody word for it and drop a like on this video. I want to get loads of likes and loads of views on this video so I do not cry myself to sleep for the next week. For those of you who liked the video already, thank you very much. For those of you who are going to do it in response to that, thank you. For those of you who decided out of spite not to, you're a bellend. To revoke your bellend status, hit like at any time. Let's go 3 more years then. Wow. 177. 177. They're all Hemel Hempsteads. I mean, there's a few Ketterings smattered in there, but it's all Hemel Hempsteads. Look at this. 2 170s. Goalkeeper and a striker. I would say Hemel Hempstead are probably doing the business. Hemel Hempstead striker 2. He hasn't been capped by England yet. Under 21 caps, though. Loads of. Look at that for a polygon. If you saw that polygon of someone in the championship, you would be like, hello. And of course, it's been back to back promotions. However many back-to-backs you want to put in there, that's how many it has been. What are we, year 5 now? 118 and 177, 24 assists, 23 player of the match, just 7.78 overall for Hemel Hempstead striker 2. We can't go through every player because we will be here all day. So what we're going to do is we are going to quickly have a look at the previous leagues, and as you can see, it was Hemel Hempstead who took it on 128 points, undefeated. Kettering coming in second place, only losing once all season to Bristol Rovers. So Kettering and Hemel Hempstead obviously drew against each other. 1-1 each time. Every draw for Hemel Hempstead was 1-1. 18 goals conceded as well. That's not bad, is it? For those two going up by a canter, and yeah, so down in League 2 then. Once again, it was Hemel Hempstead and Kettering that went up by an absolute canter. 1 draw and 1 defeat for Hemel Hempstead, and it was against Milton Keynes Dons and Leyton Orient. They did the double over Kettering. Kettering losing 1-0 and 4-0. And the Vanarama National League was much of the same. So I was completely wrong when I was talking about height. Hemel Hempstead are already flying. Kettering are going to play second fiddle for the entire experiment. Sad. Bromley beating Hemel Hempstead there. Gateshead and Aldershot beating Kettering along with Hemel Hempstead. And of course, Kettering and Hemel Hempstead drew 0-0. Hemel Hempstead have lost 4 games in 4 years and drawn about 6. They're going to be flying when they get to the Prem. So in terms of goals then, we've got Hemel Hempstead striker 2 on 170, but Kettering striker 2 has got up to 169. I mean, far less in the under 21s, understandably. Because the taller players even got better pace. Oh my god! So everything I said at the start about they improve more with pace and everything, absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Let's have a look at the winger. Hemel Hempstead winger. Where's a Kettering winger? The best Kettering winger is down here at 133. What are Kettering playing? They're not playing wingers. They're not playing wingers. That's why the wingers aren't improving. They're playing this weird concoction. I'm literally giving you a 4-2-3-1. They're playing it. Hemel Hempstead are playing it. Quickly jump through 5 more years now, so we're going to go straight from the Championship into the Premier League and probably stay there. Will they be winning the league in 5 years' time? I reckon they will be. Here we go then. They, of course, won the Championship. Kettering, of course, coming second. Managing to get over 100 points in every single season. Fantastically done. Kettering actually getting a victory over Hemel Hempstead at this point. Not checked in on the Carabao Cups and League Cups. I wonder if they've managed to win anything in the lower leagues. Papa John's Trophy, probably won by Hemel Hempstead as well when they're in the lower leagues. So they came up and then they finished the top 2, and Kettering very close to the rest of the pack, but Hemel Hempstead just far and away, just absolutely just walked the league on 92 points, winning by 15 points. Once again, Hemel Hempstead bossing the league, winning by a smaller margin. Kettering down in 5th, still getting Champions League football though. And the top 2 was once again Hemel Hempstead and Kettering, with Hemel Hempstead again 101 points, breaking the 100-point barrier in the Premier League. And the most recent season, once again, wow, 107 points, 1 game lost against Chelsea, who actually finished down in 15th. Season preview then, it is basically the entire Hemel Hempstead team. The defensive midfielder 1 is playing at centre-back, apparently, as he can do. 50 caps, 11 goals for England. So we'll have a quick look at England, and it's Unai Emery who is in charge. But has Ralph Hasenhüttl been there? That's right, gang. It's that time of the video where we play Ralph Hasenhüttl. Bingo. Get your dabbers out. Get your cards out. Ralph, have you been in charge? Ooh, I can't see what's happening. Oh. Ooh. Yes, he has. He had just under 2 years, well, year and a half there, shall we say. He resigned after a year and a half and no tournament wins. There's been some cup wins up here for Murat Yakin, Roberto Mancini, and Unai Emery. Roberto Mancini won the Euros. Murat Yakin won the World Cup, and the International League for Unai Emery. So as you can see, Phil Foden and Michael Olise have managed to get themselves in the England squad, but no bugger else is. In 9 years, we've managed to completely obliterate the England team with all these Kettering and Hemel Hempstead players. And I'll be honest with you, there's going to be quite a few that actually aren't even getting a look in. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 who've hit the promised land of 200, and a further, oh God, nearly everyone is up at 199. Then you've got a 195, and then you've got all these down here who are, they're not playing that much. Kettering central midfield 1 at 126 out of 200 has never played a competitive game of football. They've not needed him. They've trained him to play on the right of midfield. I don't know why. He's on the loan list, but because he is joining Man City here, I don't think he'll be able to go out on loan. Am I correct in that? Kettering left back down there. Yeah, quite a few. Kettering have not played some of their players a lot. At least Hemel Hempstead have played every single one of their players a lot. Even their sub-goalkeepers had 16 appearances. But they've shared the first team football around, whereas Kettering haven't. And Kettering probably should have done. To have a bigger squad, a better squad. Could they have... Hemel Hempstead. I've spelt that wrong. Missed that. Look at that. Hampstead. They're staying the same. Centre back 2. So in terms of Carabao Cups then, and 2 have been won by Hemel Hempstead in the 28-29 season and 2030-31, should I say. Aston Villa beating Kettering in the final down here. In terms of FA Cups then, and it was Hemel Hempstead who beat United 2 years ago and beating Kettering in the most recent seasons. So for the last 4 years they won the Premier League. They've won the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup on exactly the same years. They actually got to the FA Cup final and lost to Forest in 24-25, back when they were Panorama South, Panorama National, League 2 side. They were in League 2 when they got to the FA Cup final. Bloody hell. Have they won any Champions Leagues? They haven't, but Kettering have won 3! What has happened here? I'm absolutely gobsmacked, gang. And let me sit back. Let me take this in. Kettering have not won any trophies on the lead up to this. They've lost in the final of the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, I think. Hemel Hempstead have won everything. Won every league they've both been in, all the way. But then for the last 3 years, Kettering have somehow won the Champions League. If we look at Kettering's trophy cabinet, in terms of trophy cabinet for Kettering, you've got a Vanarama National League North in this save game, a UEFA Super Cup, and 3 Champions Leagues back to back. They've actually made a mistake here. There's a couple of players that are sort of created, player 13 and player 16, that are never. These were errors on the initial database. If we have a quick look, he's listed, even though he's got a future transfer, and he's loan listed. The potential ability is 105, so they're not going to be breaking the game and breaking anything. Player 13 and player 16. Have they played? So he's played 31 times, and you've got players who've never even featured for the team who have got potential of 200 and never played. Anyway, centre midfielder, look at this guy. Reminiscent of Mental Mark, eh? If you know, you know. Part 2 coming soon, eh? Look at that polygon. Absolutely brilliant. 6 jumping reach as well. 10 heading. Defensive midfielder, gets forward whenever possible. I can't believe they won 3 Champions Leagues. How have they done in the Champions Leagues then? Champions Leagues. You have Champions League. Lost to Bayern in the Champions League round of 16 on penalties in 28-29. Lost to Kettering in the semi-final here. And lost to Kettering in the quarter-final. So Kettering have done Hemel Hempstead twice. I'm kind of happy at that. Because Yeah, I just feel a bit bad for Kettering that they're just playing second fiddle to Hemel Hempstead. So yeah, that's kind of satisfying. God, I've been recording for ages. How old are they? Only 24. I'm going to jump forward through. When do they move? 2045. 14 more years. Well, there we go then. We're good. We're jumping through 14 more years, gang. Still reeling from those Champions Leagues. Still reeling. Can't believe it. They've all moved. They've all moved to the respective clubs, and yeah, some of them have gone down to like 190. So the Hemel Hempstead teams are absolutely... Yeah, I've look at this. I've spelled Hemel Hempstead wrong loads. Hemel Hampstead. Tit. The Chelsea have got the much better team. Man City have been done dirty. Well, in terms of the Premier Division, and it's all Hemel Hempstead. Hemel Hempstead all the way, except Kettering in second place, except Southampton. With Reece James in charge. Kettering then got Marco Ianni in charge. Why have they got rid of Lee Glover? He retired from management, and then Pep Guardiola decided to come in and got 6 cup wins. The Premier Division then, it's been Hemel Hempstead every single season since he's taken over from Man City. And where are Chelsea? Chelsea aren't even in the Premier League. Okay, we'll come back to this. We will come back to this. Hemel Hempstead then. FA Cups then. Southampton have actually won an FA Cup. Hemel Hempstead and Kettering have shared FA Cups. Kettering have won 6. Hemel Hempstead won 8. So Hemel Hempstead have taken the FA Cups. They've also taken the Carabao Cups. They've got 9 Champions Leagues under their belt. Kettering did get a 4th in a row, beating Hemel Hempstead in the final in 2031-32 before Hemel Hempstead. We had the same final for 4 years in a row, with the result being the same for the latter 3. Hemel Hempstead taking 3 Champions Leagues in a row here. Then they lost to Real Madrid in the final in 2035-36. And then in the next 4 years, they got 4 wins, 3 of them coming at the expense of Kettering, before Kettering finally got their name on the trophy once again. Hemel Hempstead won another, then Real Madrid and Tottenham beating Hemel Hempstead in the final, and West Ham losing out to Hemel Hempstead in the most recent season. So, where are Chelsea then? Am I going mad? They're in League One competitions. Domestic leagues then. 33-34, they got 18th. They got relegated to the Championship. Then 5 years in the Championship, getting relegated to League One, bouncing straight back down. Been in League One for 3 years. They went down to League Two. And they've just come back up. Well, over the next few years, it depends how long these players stick around. But I mean, 38 years old, you would expect them to play a couple of seasons for them. Right, in terms of England then, top players, they've still got quite a few of them in the squad. Bo Svensson is in charge. Joe Hart's had a dabble. Gattuso, Vieira, just the manager of England for the one time, Ralph Hasenhüttl. We don't get to double stamp that card, gang. Never mind. There is going to be another video. There's another chance for a reward stamp. Come back soon. In terms of World Cups, then, they've won 5. They've won the last 4. Switzerland won it in 2022. Again, another experiment where Switzerland won the World Cup. Spain have won it in 26. And then from 2030 onwards, it's been all England. In terms of Euros, then, yeah, they've won the last 5, 2028. And that's when they started bringing the players through, I think. And if we look at the shortlist, then, in terms of all-time career appearances, who's played the most? Some of them have never even played. That's heartbreaking, isn't it? Kettering winger 1, 2 and 3. Never played. Central midfield 1. Never played. Kettering centre midfield 2. Never played. What a rubbish system they had. They won some Champions Leagues. They have won trophies. They've done all right, haven't they? In terms of all-time career appearances then, 879 up here for the goalkeeper. In terms of goals, 552 for Kettering striker, 504 for Kettering striker 1. Hemel Hempstead winger 3, who can actually play all across midfield, all across up front, and a striker. 18 finishing. He's clearly been playing as a striker for the majority of his career. Great goal scoring down here. And in terms of international caps, we've got 3 who have exceeded 200, loads who've exceeded 100, some of them who've never been capped for England. Look at this. Kettering winger 4, who's played 340 times through his career, And Hemel Hempstead, central attacking midfielder here. 103 goals in 408 games. Never capped. Never got himself capped. Very interesting. Right, that it will do for now. How far have I gone into the future? We're just going to go till the sim's done. I've simmed further on. We'll see. Your guess is as good as mine. Oh, 2078. 33 more years. Yeah, we're only 23 years into the future. Now we've got another 33. We're 56 years in the future. Of course, they're all gone. Let's go to the Premier Division then. Hemel Hempstead and Kettering are both still in the league. And Hemel Hempstead have just won it most recently. So let's go back to 2045, where Hemel Hempstead lost all their players. And Kettering came through and won it the following season. And then Tottenham had a spurge of 3. And then Hemel Hempstead came back with 5 in a row. Before Tottenham, Kettering, Hemel Hempstead, Newcastle. Hemel Hempstead, Tottenham with another couple. Tottenham have been on an absolute tear, really. Hemel Hempstead have won a lot. 27 Premier Divisions, 16 Champions Leagues, and we'll go and look at that now. Since they lost all their players then, as previously, again, Kettering, the season after, they won the Premier League, they won the Champions League as well. Tottenham have been on a tear. Hemel Hempstead have won quite a few Champions League. Kettering have actually fallen away in reality. How have Kettering been doing then? Let's have a look at the competitions. Domestic leagues. Over the recent time, so since 2045, like I say, they did win it in 45-46. They actually won the Champions League in 46-47, so they didn't win it the same season. That's my mistake. 8th, qualifying for Europe, mid-table, back in the European hunt, winning one here, slipping down to mid-table and then coming back with a vengeance for a lot of Europe, then mid-table in the last few years. Whereas Hemel slipped down to 3rd, 6th, then they won a few, again, yeah, always in Europe, down in 8th here, someone got sacked. Yeah, back in the European hunt and then won it last season, so very impressive. Chelsea are back in the Premier League. How did they fare then in 2045-46? They were in Sky Bet League One and they won it 46 games, 46 victories. The superstars of Hemel Hempstead or Kettering, whichever one went to Chelsea, have absolutely done the business. Got them promoted, got them back to the Premier Division. I would have said maybe some of them had retired by this point or they were on their last legs. They finished 11th, then he finished 18th, but they've yo-yoed. They've been back in the Championship a bit, back in the Premier League a bit, up, down, but the last few years, Chelsea have recovered. Fair play. Man City then, they were down actually mid-table. Just before they finished, finished 17th in 44-45, and then those players came through and they brought them back up a bit and put them back into the European hunt. And yeah, they've been in the top 5 for the last decade. A bit more, last 14 years. I was going to say 10th this season, but it's not even started. Alphabetically, they're 10th. Sort it out. Change your name to Manchester City, then you'll be first. Eh? Arsenal have got it right, haven't they? There you are. Top. England then. Anyone else that we recognise in terms of managers? So Joe Hart was there then. Bo Svensson. Reece James went and had a dabble. Steven Gerrard. A few years, Belazoglu Emre, Ansu Fati tried his hand at the England job. Less than a year before making a John Swift departure. Of course, we always wait to the end for a bad pun. And there it is, pun of the day. 7 World Cups then for England. They actually didn't win the 2046 one, losing out to Serbia, but they did win in 2050, then Holland and Spain. They went to Holland, Spain, Holland, France, England again in 2070, and Argentina most recently. In terms of European trophies, again, England have won the most recent one, beating Scotland in the final. And yeah, again, 2048, Spain snuck in there. So after England's dominance for a bit, Spain came back through when all those players retired. But then England hit back in the following tournament. 2052, they won it. Portugal, Holland, Italy, France, and Spain have won there. So the final thing is, we're looking at Football of the Year and see which player was the best for all of those years. And of course, we had Mo Salah winning for 3 years, and Erling Haaland Oyarzabal, Kylian Mbappe. Not winning many Kylian Mbappe actually in this experiment, it must be said. He does win a lot more in some of the other ones. Hemel Hempstead winger 3, won 2. Kettering striker 1, Kettering striker 2. HHW 3, Kettering striker 1. Kettering striker, Hemel Hempstead striker 2. Hemel Hempstead winger 3. Then Hemel Hempstead winger 2 won twice. Hemel Hempstead winger 3. I should have named these guys better, but there was too many for the creative naming system, so this is where the shortcoming and pitfalls of the experiment are. It was the taller players that did much better as well, and I think Hemel Hempstead winger 3 was the player of the generation. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Football of the Years, aka Ballon d'Ors. In terms of World Team of the Year then, all seasons, Kettering striker 1 is up there. Hemel Hempstead winger 2 is up there. Hemel Hempstead Cam is there. Hemel Hempstead winger 3 is not in the All-Star 11. What have we learnt in this experiment? Nothing, really. We've learned that I'm wrong with some of my predictions and assumptions, so don't listen to me. Just watch the video and watch the content. No, honestly, in all seriousness though, what have we learnt? We've learnt that tall players improve, short players improve. If they've both got the same opportunities, tall players are better. They just are, right? Look at how much Hemel Hempstead dominated all the leagues. What, going all the way through, they were winning. They were considerably ahead of Kettering. Yeah, Kettering had that triple Champions League win. Two of them knocking out Hemel Hempstead. But again, knockout football can be unpredictable. Realistically, the amount of leagues that Hemel Hempstead won. Let's go back and look at the Premier League, shall we? In terms of the Premier Division, I mean, this is the era, right? What was better, the tall team or the short team? I mean, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed it, gang. I've actually quite enjoyed making this. And like I said earlier, it took so long to make. So if you haven't and you've got all the way to the end of this video, please do drop a like on this video. It will mean a hell of a lot. And as I always mention, in the comments down below, if you've got any ideas for experiments, please do let me know. Got some fantastic ideas that have come through recently that I'm currently working on. So if you want spoilers of what's going to come out on the channel, go and look through some previous comments. But rather than do that, just wait for them and then watch them when they're there. Some bloody great ideas, and I can't wait to bring them to you. But they've got to be right. I can't just rush them out, because if I do it wrong, and it'd be like, oh, what a waste of time that was, because then I've got to do it again. I've got to think of even better thumbnail. You'd be like, oh, that was rubbish last time. I'm not going to watch it again. So must be right, must be good. I'm waffling. What am I on about? Literally, I'm just going through the thought process of my head at the end of this video. So yeah, I won't blame you if you've clicked off. If you haven't clicked off and you're still here, comments below, ideas, thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel, all that bollocks, and take care of yourselves, most importantly. Hopefully, I'll see you soon. What a ending that was.